I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The Oaklawn Chamber of Commerce works to represent and advance its business community, striving with constant integrity, fairness, and cooperation to promote and improve the economic atmosphere, business climate, and image of Oaklawn. At this time, I would like to thank Charlie Shirk and the staff of the Hilton for the luncheon today. I'd like to also recognize our 2019 board members. Can we have all the members of our board please stand? Thank you. I want to take this time and let everyone know, as a member of the Oaklawn Chamber of Commerce, we always welcome any questions or ideas and concerns that you have. We also welcome you to participate in our committees. Each committee chair is here today, and we will have sign-up sheets at the back table if you're interested in joining any of our committees. Here are a few of our upcoming announcements. February 20th, our new and prospective member breakfast is at Les Brothers Restaurant at 8705 South Ridgeland Avenue, 8 a.m. We have a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, February 27th at Jason's Deli, 6260 West 95th Street. Our upcoming business afters is at the Cognitive Clinic at 9944 South Roberts Road, 5 o'clock. And on March 7th, we have another business after hours at Credit Union 1, 5535 West 95th Street. Please, guys, come out and get involved and learn more about what we have to offer. At this time, I'd like to ask Ashling Companion Home Care to come up as our new members, if we can give them a round. Ashley Kelly Dalton and Michael Autry. No, we're going to do that. We're going to come down there. Julie, do we have the play? Okay. All right, we're going to stand down here. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ashling Dalton Kelly, and I am the owner of Ashling Companion Home Care. We are based in Orland Park, and I joined this chamber because I see many friends of mine in the audience who tell me that this is the only chamber to be in because it rocks. So I'm really looking forward to being a part of this chamber. Just to tell you a little bit about what I do, the services that we offer are home care services in the home for seniors after some sort of operation or experiencing some sort of cognitive decline. We specialize in dementia for the very simple reason that I was one of those family members several years ago that did not have the tools or the toolbox or any education, as dementia took our mother away over 7 years. So I vowed that I would open my own business and try and be a guiding light for families who have to navigate the same journey that we had to as a family. So thank you, enjoy your lunch, Ashling Home Care, and we're very proud to be new members of the Oaklawn Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the first luncheon of 2019 and our 9th annual State of the Village Address. We're excited to welcome Village President Dr. Sandra Berry, as well as Village Manager Larry Deachin Village Clerk Jane Quinlan, Economic Development Steve Radis, our District 4 Trustee Terry Vorder, District 5 Trustee Bud Stalker, Police Chief Randy Palmer, our Director of Emergency Communications and Finance Director Brian Hannigan, our Budget Director Adam Metz, our Fire Chief Mike, don't beat me up Mike Marvigrove.
Oh, you butchered it.
How do I go, Mike? Sorry. Our Deputy Fire Chief, Zach Riddle. Our Village Engineer, Jack Gallagher. Director of Public Works, Steve Barrett. Street Divisions Manager, Jerry Ciccarello. Water Divisions Manager, Dave Leslie. Sewer Divisions Manager, Bill Meyer. Our IT Coordinator, Tom Swime. Mike Arteron and Kathy Fairfield for our Oak Lawn Senior Center. Please give those people a round of applause. In light of moving along in the program, we'd like to invite you to go ahead and begin your salad. Our presentation will begin at 12:25 with the Village President, Dr. Berry, who will be giving her annual State of the Village address. Immediately following, there will be a question and answer period after the presentation. We've put note cards on each one of your tables for you to write down your questions, and the cards will be collected at that time. Lunch is served. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to now introduce our Village President, Dr. Sandra Berry.
No, deliberated, yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. How's lunch? How about a round of applause for our wonderful Hilton? And the wonderful team who is serving us. What a great lunch this is, and thank you, Oak Lawn Chamber, for inviting me here. I was telling Larry, it gets a little harder to do this every year, because every year you want to make it fresh and interesting, and this year we're not going interactive, I'm sorry, but thank you for the invitation. Our Chamber Board of Directors, I just want to recognize them all one more time, and thank you for all you do in our community. The Oak Lawn Chamber is not just Oak Lawn. It draws individuals from all around Chicagoland, and as we saw with our new member today, she's not in the physical boundaries of Oak Lawn, but she knows Oak Lawn's a great place to live, work, and shop. Thank you for joining, by the way. The Chamber's had a great year. Look at all those ribbon cuttings. The most recent one was Smilin' Clyde's right in the center. Who was at that? Get your hot dogs at the library. It was great. Congratulations to all these new businesses. The Chamber has over 350 members. They're strong, diverse, and I know, I'm not, just wait till I get the other slides with the big numbers, sorry. But through support and education, this chamber grows. It makes it ideal for everyone to be part of. I want to thank those who will be watching this at home on our cable channel, Channel 4. Please support your chamber, shop Oak Lawn when you can. The dollars you spend in our community come back and they sponsor your kids' Little League, and they provide jobs for you and your neighbors. The chamber is our unified voice of business, and I want to thank you all. So thank you. I am really lucky to stand up here and be the face of the village today, but to be honest, most of what I'm talking about, I have nothing to do with. It's the great team in place. It starts with our board of directors, our management team, and all our committees and commissions. And I want to call our village clerk, Jane Quinlan, up. We have our two trustees, Trustee Terry Vorder in District 4, Trustee Bud Stalker, District 5. We have department heads coming up. We have our Chief Palmer, Chief Mavro George, Brian Hannigan, is Steve Barrett here, Public Works. They've got a very busy day today with all the frozen lines as you can imagine, and icy conditions. Just a moment. Okay, who else is left? Diana Tousignant, we're not forgetting you. Steve Radis, Economic Development. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, Larry. Larry, come on up. No escape, Larry. I know lunch is good. Is there room for our village engineer, Jack Gallagher? I don't want to run out of seats. How many do I have left? I think that would be rounding it. So that's it. And there's many more here. Would every village employee in the room please stand up and be recognized too if there's not room for you up here? Thank you, everyone. With the village board being so cohesive, with this team being so professional and highly trained, we're really, really excited about our village. I'm going to start with just some fun stuff. The village redid the Village Green play lot. Steve Barrett, thank you for doing that with your team. That old play lot was very old, and it's great to see the kids playing on this. Our Park District also completed their all-inclusive playground this year. This is one of the only ones in the region. I encourage everyone to check it out. And Dillon Park, brand new, gorgeous. And Centennial Park, oh my God, this is a resident who took this photo, and I want to give shouts out to Rick Drew. Amazing photos of this project he posted online. What a wonderful renovation. So let's give our Park District a round of applause. And Maddie, please. Thank you. I'm going to start with economic development. It's kind of important to all of us. It's really the seed for what's coming. The Barrel Club, you guys know Stony Creek Promenade. Who hasn't been there? Everyone's been there. That's Cooper's Hawk, Mariano's, all of those wonderful new businesses. Barrel Club is opening up. Barrel Club is the dream of a St. Linus guy, John Zawoski. And it is, they had the groundbreaking recently, pretty cold day there, but good turnout. This is going right close to Mariano's. I'll show you in just a minute. Right there. So Mariano's is just on the upper right part of the screen there. And this is the whole field west of Mariano's. And you could see the location of the Barrel Club. That is going to be about 8,300 square feet. Fine dining, folks. No fast food there. It'll be steaks, chops. I'm assured at least one vegetarian entree, because I asked. And they do their own whiskey and spirits. So if you want to get the spirit of the month, they have that. Look at how gorgeous this is going to be. If you enjoy Cooper's Hawk, you will love the Barrel Club. There's John. John, I'm so proud of him, local guy. It's his concept. He has a great team in place. The chef is outstanding. The chef is on board. It's going to look amazing. It's going to be a great place to go, have your meetings, celebrate special occasions. There's some shots of the interior. A lot of whiskey in there. And fine dining, very elegant, sophisticated restaurant. So, opening late spring. Let's give them a round of applause. Barrel Club. Next one's Rock and Brews. If anyone's from the 70s and remembers the rock band Kiss, Gene Simmons from Kiss, this is his restaurant concept. Oak Lawn will be the first location in Illinois. It's going to be on the corner closer to 111th, right over there in that corner. The inside is going to be expansive, colorful, lively, a lot of rock and roll music, a lot of great upscale pub food. You want to go out with your friends, have a great time. It's going to be one of many fine establishments in Oak Lawn. And here's another shot of the proposed exterior. For those of you who are into architecture, that guitar, yes, is 80 feet tall. They wanted it to be seen from Cicero, and I think they'll be able to see it when they fly the planes over Midway. It's going to be really cool. And that's another shot of the interior. It's going to be great fun coming to Oak Lawn. And that's going to be late summer, early fall. So let's hear it for Rock and Bruce coming. Now, when this concept was originally designed and the Board of Trustees made that investment on this corner, the vision was always retail. So we're thrilled that TJ Maxx and Home Goods are coming to Oak Lawn. This is wonderful. They're going to have each a 22,000 square foot space in the same building, and it's going in this large space right there. And this is what it's going to look like. Very large building, but we're just so happy to have retail. Anyone who's not shopped in Home Goods here, you're in for a treat. TJ Maxx, wonderful. It's going to be very, very nice. So finally, a little bit more retail. Late spring, they're saying. I know it's spring almost already, but that building's going up. The walls are going up. It looks really, really good. Last one is Mariano's Fuel. Those of you who are in like a club like Costco, you know how they have the discounted fuel for members? If you have a Mariano's card, that will get you discounts up to $1 a gallon, depending on your points, at BP, Amoco, and Mariano's. So it's funded by points from what you get shopping at Mariano's. So pretty cool, pretty neat. Another reason to shop Oak Lawn. And that's going right there. So let's go back and think of what this used to be. This is the aerial view. It was pretty much vacant, most of it. There were a few small businesses up and running, but none of the energy you see there now. It was pretty much just a big, big field of asphalt. There were seagulls everywhere, puddles. Everyone remembers this view. Now, the Dominic's was shuttered a long time. Kmart was hanging on by a thread. Not a lot of traffic. And look at it now. What a transformation. And this is the team that did it. It's the Board of Trustees and all these individuals up here who worked so hard to make that happen. We went from kind of nice businesses but not cohesive to, Cooper's Hawk right there, looking so good. Now, if you see this, look at all those telephone poles and electric poles. We got rid of all of those and transformed that. Look how elegant, look how upscale. This is when you come into Oak Lawn, what you should see, and we couldn't be more proud. So now that we're winding down phase 2, it's nice to sit and pause and reflect on that amazing work, amazing commitment. It was scary. The market had just bottomed out pretty much, and it was a tough time to do this, but the fortitude of this board and this team made it happen. We're just so proud. It's really all about making it better for the future. That's what everyone here is working for, and that's really what we want to do. We view our community as a gift to the future, and everything we do is to make it better. Another example in town. You've got Fresh Line Foods, which was open for years. How long, Steve? 42 years? 47 years? Yeah. And this was property that grew organically. You could see these buildings were all once individual businesses. He kind of assembled them all and made that whole block his. And it was recently bought out by Pete's Fresh Market. The parcels you see in the corner, the apartment building in the upper left and the house in the upper center, those have been bought by Pete's Fresh Market also. They're going to demolish everything and build a brand new store. And those of you who may not be familiar with Pete's, it's wonderful. It's going to be great. Every day, almost a resident tells me they miss a store in the center of our town, and it was so convenient to go pick up a few things on the way here or there. So we're thrilled. And it won't be one of their big stores, but it's going to have Pete's quality. And they're famous for their produce and their freshness, and we couldn't be more thrilled. So I want to welcome them. It's a substantial investment. Right now, they're in the design phase. We're very eager to get them up and running as quickly as possible, and I want to assure everyone listening to this that the village will put no brakes on it. We want it done yesterday. So, those of you who remember the old BD Lumberyard, there's a wonderful new kid in town going up there, Advocate Medical Group. They're going to have 205 employees there. Of that 205, 154 of them are expected to be doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, licensed professionals. This is bringing people who really are educated into the center of our town and all the people who need their services. They're ready to open this spring. The building's looking real good. This is how it will look when finished. And this is what we had. Again, right in the center of town. It was really abandoned. It was awful. Really a tough parcel. And that's what it looked like. So let's knock it down, and here's how it looked as of this weekend. Thank you, Jack, for taking pictures in the snow for me. But it looks amazing, and they're ready to open soon. They're finishing out the interior, and I'm thrilled to bring those jobs, those professional people. Let's hope they all want to buy homes in town and stay close, and it's going to be really, really good. Dunkin' Donuts. Expect 2 new restaurants right just east of the Children's Museum. There'll be one with rooftop dining, one with a drive-through, and a new traffic signal at 50th Court. And this old Karis building, you could drive through the center of our town, not even notice this building. This is going down. And I don't have the drawings to show you, unfortunately, of the new building because Dunkin' Donuts is now Dunkin', and they are redesigning everything with their new brand. But this, you could see the footprint. Children's Museum is the round bump out on that building you see just by the tracks, and you could see the traffic signal there. And this will be a drive-through, it'll be a traffic signal, it'll be really, really nice. More to do in our town center, so we're happy. And this is a little more detailed view. A lot of these slides are a little too detailed for a presentation like this, but I want everyone aware that many people at home will be watching this on YouTube and they could pause and look at the details. And some of these have more detail than you're going to see, but that's why that's the case. So Oak Lawn Commons, Trustee Vorderer's side of town. Trustee Vorderer, raise your hand, sir. So Trustee Vorderer and I have been very frustrated with 95th and Pulaski. You look across the street from this parcel and you see a very high-producing grocery store, high-producing Home Depot, high-producing Portillo's, one of the busiest Portillo's ever. And Target's doing exceptionally well. They're all going gangbusters. You cross the street and it's awful. There's another giant expanse of concrete, no trees, no plants, just blah. So this was for sale after Kmart closed. As you know, Chuck E. Cheese is long gone, and the remaining businesses are on the way out. I think Pep Boys is still open and the lumber place still open, but they're winding out. The bank on the corner, Chase Bank, and Longhorn are all staying. That's not part of this parcel. But this is what they want to turn it into. The Hubbard Street Group purchased it, and they recognize the potential, and they saw what's going on 111th and Cicero, and they say, yeah, we know that this can be done here. They've been working with Trustee Vorderer and our whole team to make sure that it lives up to what we think the entrance of Oak Lawn on this corner should look like. We worked so hard on 111th. This is a new gateway into town. Let's let everyone know who comes into town that this is Oak Lawn, and it looks awesome. So this is what they're proposing. The site plan was approved, and this is what it looks like from above. They're taking 75 feet off the front of the old Kmart building, building 4 out parcels. Each of those two will be restaurants, possibly 1 retail, 1 possibly coffee with drive-through. The site plan calls for a small upscale grocer on the east end, a potential fitness center on the west end. I can't announce any names at this point, but I can tell you it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be jobs, it's going to be energy, it's a new economic engine going in where there was nothing. So we're just so happy. That's the rendering of the facade. They're planting hundreds of trees. 95th Street will be lined by bur oaks. And these are what the new buildings will look like, and the new signs going in. So We're just so excited. They're eager to hit the ground running, and we are not going to put the brakes on them at all again. But we want it done right, and the Hubbard Street Group gets it. Trustee Warder gets it. Our board is unified with what we expect, and it's really, really wonderful. So Hubbard Street Group, let's give them a round of applause. Let's see that done. So I want to talk a little bit about why economic development is so critical and why we care so much as a chamber, why the chamber is so important, why Shopping Oak Lawn is so important. It's because our taxes are high. I made this slide showing our taxing districts. Oak Lawn has, I think, 13 different taxing districts. And in general, on average, over the last 5 years, every taxing district has increased your taxes about 10% on average. Some as high as 20% or more, and some as low as 4%. The village is your only taxing body that has actually lowered their tax levy, about 5.82%, which, if you call around, is not common in the state of Illinois or anywhere for a municipality to lower taxes. And we've asked this team, this board has asked this team to work smarter with less, and it's been amazing. They've done it. The services have never been better. But this is an important slide, and it'd be great if that was more minimal across the board. It's challenging for every agency. We have, for example, step increases for our staff, and our budget goes up every year. Our tax levy in 2018 is about $13.8 million, okay? It's going to end up being a little bit more because of what's called a loss amount from the county. So these are adjustments based on foreclosures and people who don't pay taxes. But our levy, the levy we ask for our budget, is $13.8, okay? Our yearly budget increases every year, just like every other taxing body. Everyone gets raises, costs go up. It's really, a challenge to make it work. Yet our tax levy is going down. Now, how are we doing that? It's not easy. So I put both of those slides on one page, and I want you to just think about this for a minute. If costs are going up, a property tax levy hits everyone equally. It hits seniors, it hits single people, it hits big families. A person who is living on a fixed income in a small house, is being asked to pay a larger share. We're trying to have the services of the village be more in tune with who's using it. For example, if you use less water, you're going to pay less. Property taxes, by keeping them low, it helps seniors stay in their home. And I'm not explaining this as well as I wish I could. It's a really elegant concept, shifting more of the costs to more use-based costs. Anyway, I'm really proud of this slide. We want our seniors to be able to stay. It's critical. The taxes we collect from sales tax supplements the tax levy. So it's kind of boring to talk about, but we collected $15.6 million in sales tax, and every dollar spent in Oak Lawn that's taxes paid on, that's less property tax someone's going to have to pay. And that's kind of how it works out. The money has to come from somewhere. Where does it come from? Okay, our car sales, our filling stations are our number one source of tax revenue, followed very closely by drinking and dining, which we all love, and groceries. Our least is manufacturing and apparel. I'd like to see both of those change, but by growing our tax base, again, we can reduce the property tax levy. And this is just a different way to look at that same data. While we're working to cut costs, we're cutting our staff too. If you were here in the year 2000, we had 491 village employees. We're down to 326. That's a 34% decrease in our staff. Everyone's working a little harder, doing more people are cross-trained, but several positions are outsourced. When people retire, the positions are not filled. The village then doesn't have the burden of the pension, doesn't have all the ongoing expenses. Pretty much where we're at with every dollar coming in, most of it's spent on people in the village of Oak Lawn. Another thing we did last year to save you about $90,000 was eliminate the vehicle stickers. If you factor in the costs for the software, the printing, all the people selling them, all of the administrative costs, it's about a $90,000 a year savings. We're putting in new water meters. These are going to be more accurate, more efficient, and we think by that it's going to put an extra $112,000 a year into the village coffers. And it doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about a $58 million budget, but after 20 years, this is going to be, millions. This adds up really quickly. So any little efficiencies we can do, we're looking at antiquated things, working smarter. And again, it's a very diligent board and a very diligent team. The hardest part we face as a municipality is trying to fund the pensions. Everyone hears about this, and I can't say enough what a challenge this is for us. For us to make ends meet, we're about $2 million underfunded this year, and we're already paying $8 million into it every year. It's really hard. Every year we're trying to pay more. We have a strategy that we're ramping up our funding, and we're doing this not by increasing sales tax, increasing property tax. We're doing this by paying down debt, restructuring debt. All of that money then goes to fund the pensions. That's where that projected increase is coming from. This on the left column is the amount unfunded, and at this adopted pension funding policy, we don't break even and go into the right end of the scale until 2026. But by whittling away at it, it's not going to be jarring to services. We're not facing massive drama with the organization. It's a steady ramp up, again, using what was paid down, what we'd normally be paying with debt, to fund those pensions, but it's going to take a while, and I want to thank this team, and Brian and your team. This has been a huge thorn for all of us. We would love to see them all paid now, but to instantly come up with the millions we need, we would not be able to provide services. If you think of what you can do with even $1 million in a community of this size, you know how hard this is for the organization to try to fund these pensions. We are committed to it. So we're ramping up every year, and that's the plan. And it's a workable plan. But it takes patience, and it takes diligence and commitment on the board part. Our total budget's $58 million, and that's a lot. That's a lot. But when you look back here, pretty soon our pensions are going to be $16 million just to pay the pension. And on a $58 million budget, you can see how all-consuming this is. We're shifting from paying the workforce we have to the workforce we used to have. And we pay for two sets of employees, those who are retired and those who are here, and the costs are increasing every year on that. We really beg Springfield to help us moving forward get this fixed, because there will be a point where it's unsustainable. But the focus today is on our safety net, and I don't have much time, but I want to highlight why Oak Lawn's an awesome community. There are several safety initiatives I want to outline, and I'm just going to go through them pretty quickly, but I want everyone to be aware of them. When we look at what we spend about $38 million a year on public safety. Most of it is for police, then fire, then dispatch. If you factor public works into this, it exceeds that, but presently 2/3 or more is on police, fire, and dispatch. I'm going to talk about emergency communications. Diana Tusignant is our director, and her office has handled 211,000 calls in 2018. That's astonishing. That is 124,000 emergency calls, 87,000 non-emergency calls. Think about it, that's 580 calls a day and about 24 calls an hour. Now, you know that those 24 calls aren't coming at 3 in the morning. They're clustered together during business hours. So 24 calls an hour, it's probably some hours more like 100 calls. It's a very busy office, very busy agency. I want to talk about Smart 911. Who here still has a landline? Okay, more than I thought. Most people who call 911 today are calling on a cell phone. And even though there's an app on your cell phone that can find your phone within a room this size, 911 doesn't have that technology for a variety of reasons. If you call 911, you get a big area, a couple blocks big, where they can triangulate maybe where you're at. Smart 911 allows you to register your home. You can create a safety profile so that when you call 911, your phone will give them the exact location. You'll get alerts on weather and conditions. And then also if you have special needs, that stuff will populate when you call too. Think of if you're in an emergency and you're panicking, your house is on fire, how are you going to remember everything you need to tell them? This is when people go blank, even if they have lived at the house all their life, they forget their address. All of these things are the challenges we face when someone calls 911. Smart 911, it's voluntary, you don't have to do it, but if you let them know, you register, you say, what pets do you have? Your medications, phone numbers associated with your family, property details, emergency contacts, vehicle descriptions. There's a story of a child who was in a car calling 911, and the child passed away because the police couldn't find the car the child was calling from. And so letting them know what kind of car. If the police are looking for a car, they'll be able to find you. All of these things are great. So there's an app. You go to your phone, smart911.com. If you do nothing else today, please go to this website and consider registering your phone. If you have any senior family or disabled family, anyone, help them register. It takes just a minute to do. It is secure. The only people who could view this information is the dispatch and the police and the fire. It is strictly confidential, and I encourage you to do that. Diana had a wonderful year working hard for us. Word is getting around about our dispatch center, and I'd want to welcome Alsip and Hotchkiss to our dispatch center. We are a regional dispatch center, and we're thrilled. I want to give them a round of applause. Welcome aboard, Diana. Great job. This is great for a number of reasons, one of which every resident should know. The more people who come on board for dispatch, the less it costs our taxpayers to operate this center right here in Oak Lawn. So great job. Our police safety net, huge. Chief Palmer, you're doing a great job, sir. I want to just thank you. You have a great team in place. The budget for Chief is $21,700,000. This is the highest budget ever for police services. Police officers are at the highest they've been. Oak Lawn is a regional leader in preparedness and public safety.
Good job.
Yeah. Organization called Safe Home identified Oak Lawn as one of Illinois' safest cities, and in fact in the top 25th percentile in the United States. They looked at things like population, crime, citizen to officer ratio, and the trends. Speaking of trends, I know this is one of those numbers, everyone looks at a chart like this and goes, ugh, but I'll highlight a few things, and again, residents like to pause this and kind of meander over it a little bit. What you have is the years going from 2010 on the bottom to 2018 above, and then the different crime statistics. Now, these are preliminary. What that means is if the courts do something else with any of these cases, it can shift to another column, and it's a dynamic thing. But as of when Chief gave this to me a couple weeks ago, this is the data as it stands. So I'm going to highlight a few things. Our robbery and burglary columns, if you look where we were, we're a fraction of where we've been. We're really doing good there. In 2010, there were 166 burglaries. In 2018, only 74. Now, obviously, one is too many. We'd like that number 0. But robberies also, the trend is overall kind of downward. It's a good trend. Most of these numbers are great. Where we have the issue is theft. And I said, Chief, why is this? What's going on? Is this all the car stuff? What's going on? And so he gave me a breakdown, and here it is for those of you who like detail. But I want to talk about a few details on this. Our retail theft, so these are shoplifters, 209 of those. So these are people who are slipping something in their pocket, walking out of the store without paying. I would love that number to be 0. but it's not the same as having your home broken into in terms of how it affects community safety. I just want everyone aware of that. We'd love that number to be 0. The other thing is motor vehicle. People aren't locking their cars. Come on, folks, lock your cars. It's a simple thing to do, and our safety profile would be so much better. These offenses related to burglaries and thefts from cars, they should be a fraction of that, and it's the reality. But when I talk about Oak Lawn Police, we're regional training leaders. We conduct exercises regularly. We did a big one called Guardians of Gotham in September. We were checking things like, what's our security response, what's our firefighting operation response, medical surge capabilities. If we get a mass casualty, how do we handle it? How do we train to have the hospital accept hundreds of people or dozens of people at once? How will our ambulances be able to handle that? How will our first responders deal with that? Triage, pre-hospital treatment. What can we be doing? How does our communications network hold up when something like this is going on? It simulated an explosion at our metro station. We worked with the Metro Police. It was really interesting. But it was an exercise in incident management. It was really involved. There were 814 participants. We had police from Alsip, Burbank, Bridgeview, Chicago Ridge, Evergreen Park, Hometown, Oak Lawn, and the Metro Police. The fire and EMS departments from Alsip, Bedford Park, Burbank, Bridgeview, Evergreen, Chicago Ridge, Oak Lawn, Orland, and of course Advocate was on board with the Children's Hospital and many more, such as the Red Cross and many other organizations. But 814 participants in this exercise. It was something to see and observe. I was an observer, and it was really amazing to watch our first responders in action. They trained in a group setting. This is at the lower images at the hospital, and the upper images at the Metro, where they were doing all the prep. And what was really cool during the exercise, you could kind of follow. We had a trial of a camera system, and you could kind of follow where the issues were, where the people were, where's the perpetrator running. And I want to talk about this because, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the Stoneman Douglas Parkland School shooting. All of these folks lost their lives in Florida last year, and the rescue attempt was hindered because the police didn't know, was he still in the building? Where was he? What was going on? We couldn't see what was going on. And so I'm real proud to say our schools have signed up, and it's called Oak Lawn Field Watch. This is a big initiative, Chief. I'm so excited about this because it's going live this month, 1 year from when this horrible incident happened, where we saw this great weakness, and it'll allow our police and first responders to look at the cameras in the schools. No one else can do this. This is all private, and it's voluntary on the school's part. But they could see, if there's an incident, we can see where they're located in the school. We could see what the response is. We could watch our guys. We could see if the bad guy gets away. We could see if people are injured. What difference this makes to first responders is incredible, because the single factor working against you with responding to injuries like this is time. Most of these individuals bleed to death if they're shot. The quicker we can find them, the better, and this is safer for our first responders, safer for our kids, safer for our community. I want to applaud all our schools for getting involved in this, and especially our police department for doing this. It's really awesome, and I'm very excited about this. What's really neat about this is it can take hundreds of video feeds at once. We are nowhere near the limit, so if any of you have a business in town and you would like to have your cameras be on there, your exterior cameras, if you're a bank, you want your interior cameras, anything like that, talk to our police department. They can get this information on there. And again, they don't look unless they need to. No one records it. It's strictly live feeds only. But when they need to know what's going on, it's going to make the big difference for everyone's safety. So Oak Lawn Field Watch, that's our other initiative I wanted you guys to know about. Very big deal. Great job, Chief. So if they should ask you, are you interested in having your business participate, you're familiar with it, it's a great public safety initiative. helps them do their job better. Another part of our safety net, our fire department. I want to welcome Chief Mavro George. Chief, you've had a busy night with all the ice storms and response. Our new chief has swagger. He's a great guy, and with him is his right hand, Zach Riddle. Zach, you want to stand up? They are doing a great job. These are numbers from last year and today, or this last year and the year before, 17 and 18, just showing how our fire department spends their time. These are the calls they make. Only 2% of our fire department calls are fires. And I find this interesting because I always call them the fire department and not the paramedic department, but really emergency medical services and rescue is the majority of their day. That's how they spend their time. And I found that very interesting, and every year the trend is very, very consistent with how they spend their time. So we're in the room here. Who knows CPR? Okay. What good is it going to do to someone in the next room who's just fallen to the floor with a heart attack? Here's what's happening. They're calling 911, and they're going to get here real fast. 911's answering fast. They're going to get a first responder fast. But every second that goes by, we're right next door. We don't know it. We don't know that person needs help. We don't know, we're all trained in CPR. It's doing no good to that person. Pulse Point is a new initiative that Chief is initiating in town that allows you to sign up with an app if you know CPR, and then dispatch will go ahead and send out a blast alert to anyone in the area who might know CPR. So by now the paramedics are getting in their car, they're driving down 95th Street, oh, there's a train there. Okay, they're still on the way, but not doing that guy any good. If we had the app today, all of us would be in there doing CPR, giving that man or woman the seconds they need. And again, our first responders are quick, but nothing beats being right there. And so this is a great public initiative. It's sponsored by a partnership with Advocate Christ Hospital, Advocate Healthcare, and they're partnering with Aurora. I'm going to talk about that. But this is an app. You could just join on. Chief, when are we rolling this out in Oak Lawn?
Should be, we're looking at a target date of late spring, early summer. It's all going to depend on the technical
Right.
And
So,
information technology.
so Chief is saying late spring, early summer, and it's going to depend on the technology when we could do it. It is a kind of a technical thing. Anyone could download the app right now. And if you have an AED in your business, you could put your AED in there, and it'll direct people who have this app to the AED. It's a great idea, great concept. So get the app, pulsepoint.org. So Chief is also looking at the department making it a little more high-tech. So we had the Bureau of Fire Prevention that's being phased out to a Bureau of Community Risk Reduction. And we're going from a model of inspection, enforcement, and education to a data-driven model which looks at hazards, building partnerships, and most importantly, building safety and improving quality of life. So Chief is very interested in your organization. If you have any needs, if you would like to talk, Chief is there for you. They're going to do their job better by getting to know you. There's an app they're implementing called Flow MSP, and it's a little technical, I don't quite understand it, but basically a school or a building can upload their plan, and it'll tell if there's a call, for example, what the building's constructed of, where the fire hydrants are, where the sprinklers, anything they need to know about the building. So if the fire department should come to you and say, we're looking to do this, this is why. It means they can respond better. Rather than getting to the scene and having to figure it all out, they know while they're on the way, and it takes one step out of the quickness of their response. Okay, Public Works. On a day like today, on a winter like this, where would we be without Public Works in our safety net? Steve, you guys have done a great job. It's been really challenging. Can't thank you enough. These are the guys and gals who go out there and when there's a water main break and it's 20 below, they're still there making sure everything's okay. Great job. I'm going to just talk a little bit about them. I don't have many slides, but they're the street division, the water division, the sewer division, refuse, recycling, and yard waste, green team, and then they maintain the fleet and facilities. Chick, can you raise your hand? Chick ran water for our community garden, and that partnership with District 123, with our park district, brought home a Governor's Hometown Award to Oak Lawn. This is the second one we've had in about 10 years. Huge accomplishment. We all went on a bus to Springfield. It was kind of fun. We took the village's new bus. But the community garden is on 105th Street. I don't have time to talk about it fully, but what a great project. The collaboration, I cherish. Larry, you're in this slide here. Can you raise your hand? Larry's with 123, and then our park district, Maddie. Great job. They are growing food, giving seniors opportunities for gardening. They are providing food for shelters that's fresh and wholesome, as well as other organizations. And then it's a community garden. So if you're interested if you live in a condo and you want a garden, you could actually rent a plot to garden. We have a tree trimming cycle. Let's give them a applause for that Governor's Hometown Award. Great job. And I'm sorry I don't have time to highlight all the accomplishments of our schools, of our library, of everyone. It's just it's a limited time, and I have to talk about the village first. Residents want to know when their trees are getting trimmed. Here's our tree trimming schedule. The pink areas are 2019. The yellow areas are last year. So if you live there, they're going to come by, trim your trees. Our village forester is always there for you if you have a concern about your tree. We're updating the street signs also. These are some areas that the signs are changing out. And these are where they've been updated as of December 31st. So we're coming along with our street name signs as well, the newer ones, a little easier to read. And then our stop signs, and they are not the fancy ones with the different phrases. They are good old-fashioned ones that everyone knows what they mean, but they're coming along. They're coming along. Big part of our safety net, the reason you want to be in Oak Lawn is our partnerships, and Advocate Christ Medical Center is a big part of our safety net in this community. They have changed the tone of our downtown. They are the biggest employer in our village. We entered a strategic partnership with them because we both recognize that if the village is strong, the hospital is strong. If the hospital is strong, the village is strong. So working together towards our common interests makes a lot of sense. These are slides from them. I want to give a shout out to Matt. He's the new president, and he's not able to be here today, but I'm going to read these slides and just bear with me. They've merged recently with Aurora Health, okay? It was a very special time. The organization merged with the Wisconsin-based Aurora Healthcare. The new enterprise is called Advocate Aurora Health, and it's a 27-hospital system that spans both states with over 70,000 employees, 8,000 physicians, and over 400 sites of care. Their purpose is we help people live well. Their values are excellence, compassion, and respect. And their brand promise, which I love, is make healthy happen. It's a great promise. They're involved in the community in many ways, and this is their commitment. And these are just a few things in 2018 that they've accomplished. The Becker's Hospital Review called them one of the top 100 hospitals. Top 100 heart program and neurosurgery spine program. U.S. News and World Report's top 4 hospitals in Illinois. It's a nursing magnet school destination, recertification of comprehensive stroke center and ventricular assist device program. It's ranked and highlighted as the top places to work by the Chicago Tribune. It is truly a center of excellence. We are so fortunate to have it right in our community. Because by now, the first responders are bringing the gentleman next door over to the hospital, and he's getting great care, and he's going to make it. anyway. So they're working with us on the opioid overdose program. They're providing community members with free overdose treatment and recovery kits. Trauma recovery centers providing community members access to comprehensive post-trauma services. They're doing a workforce development program to support the underemployed and unemployed community members in the healthcare related roles. And this is really a big one that they're rolling out a little bit more. They are one of the big sponsors and supporters of Pulse Point that I was talking about, because they know that it's going to make their team more effective. Everyone's going to have better outcomes. And they're partnering with our village in many ways. For example, Park Lawn. Steve Manning's here from Park Lawn. Steve, where are you? Good. Advocates partnering with you guys are hosting much needed donation drives, and they're helping your group get resources they need for the residents and the team. So some of the things they're doing, they're working on their strategic planning process. They're launching what's called Physician Connect. And then, of course, the new medical building is early summer. Well, I called it spring, but I guess early summer 2019, they're opening at the old center of town lumber yard. So what you're going to see, there's primary care, pediatrics, cardiology, urgent care, radiology, and mammography. So this is Steve Manning. Excuse me, not Steve Manning. This is Matt. Excuse me. Sorry, Steve. This is Matt Primick. He's the president of Advocate Christ Medical Center, and he says, Advocate Aurora Health and Advocate Christ Medical Center, thank you for your ongoing partnership. We're honored to serve our community with world-class care. We look forward to collaborating even more with our fellow Oak Lawn business leaders to enhance and strengthen our village. So thank you, Advocate. Lastly, when you think of the safety net, we have to think of Oak Lawn Family Services and the Oak Lawn Senior Center. Keith Fairfield and Mike Iteran, can you guys stand up, please? You guys do a great job. I just want residents to know a little bit about this. Family Services in 2018 provided over 4,500 counseling sessions on a sliding scale or reduced rate for residents. These include counseling on things like grief, loss, parenting, marital conflict, anxiety, mood disorders, communication issues, and many others. This is available to all residents. Please take advantage of this. If you need help, if you need further information on this service, the number is 708-423-3361. And I'm sorry to just put one slide for the excellent stuff you do at the Senior Center. 7,200 visits last year at our Senior Center. Many of them with the garden, the community garden. The seniors are working there too. It's right next to it. Great job. Thank you very much. And lots more fun going on there. Thank you. I'm so limited on time. I could talk all day about our community, all the wonderful things. I want to apologize to those businesses and schools and individuals I would normally highlight that I have not this year, but I wanted to talk about these safety initiatives that are so important. Oak Lawn is safer because of all of us, because of all of them. It truly is a wonderful place to live, work, and shop. Please remember our safety initiatives. If you do nothing today, Smart 911, remember. Oak Lawn Field Watch, if you have a business and you're interested, we'd love to have you participate. And then Pulse Point. So that's it. Thank you very much.
So at this time, are there any questions? Do we have any cards? All right.
All right.
Any more? We've got 3. We've got one here.
Oh, lots of them.
I don't know if we can answer all of them.
Bum, bum, bum.
There's no names on here. All right. I'll let you read these.
So you're going to read them?
Okay, I'll read them, sure. How does the proposed minimum wage increase impact the village of Oak Lawn and its residents and businesses?
Excellent question. As you may or may not know, Senate Bill number 1 has cleared the Senate last week. It's going for discussion in committee in the House tomorrow. And it's fast-tracked. I'm told the governor would like to have this bill be passed where he can talk about it at his State of the State address on February 20th. Our representatives are not given a lot of time to consider it, but basically through a variety of step increases, it's going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. There's very little opposition that's organized. It is moving so fast, no one even knows this is going on. So how will it impact us? The village doesn't have many minimum wage employees. We do have summer help. I don't see the big impact with us. Where it's going to impact us is through the vibrance of our community, because our small mom and pop places are most likely to have the lower waged employees. I fear that it's going to drive costs up quite a bit. I fear that it's not thought through enough. I don't really know how it's going to help an organization like Park Lawn, for example, whose clients are on Medicaid, and all those rates for their care are negotiated separately. So if they get an increase in their reimbursements, I have no problem with them paying people more. Unfortunately, that's not the way this is going. And I'm very, very concerned about their viability, their ability to do things. Our park district is another one. They rely on summer help and student work, and it's going to impact them. I've seen numbers of about $100,000 a year to about $700,000+ a year when fully implemented. I think when you're looking at making a hit like that to the taxpayers, I think it merits more than a few days of discussion. I would like to see it slowed down. I would like all these different pieces to have a chance to communicate. By the time residents will see this at home, it will be voted on already. It's a little bit scary. I know we're all struggling, the business owners, with the tax increases we've seen in our property tax, and this is another thing. Like it's very challenging. For example, a medical office, once the raises are given, you know, that's great. Then you have to give raises to the whole organization, but the reimbursements aren't going up. And so I don't know, it's a problem. They're not, I haven't heard much explanation other than it's coming. And so will it impact the village? It will impact our services we provide. It will impact the residents through the taxes they pay. It will impact the most vulnerable in our community in terms of the care they get. I'm very, very concerned about those things. So anyway, I could go on and on about that one.
Thank you. Next question. Why is the snow removal not being done in Oak Lawn more efficiently?
It's really efficiently. Okay, so Public Works does a great job, and Steve Barrett. Steve, how long have you been doing this, sir?
45 years.
45 years. Okay, so Steve has seen just about every weather situation, it's dynamic. The problem I have is residents will say, my street's not plowed. Now they'll look, and they have GPS in the trucks. They know the truck was down that street. Residents are throwing the snow back in the street when they plow their driveways. So it looks like nothing's been plowed. Every street is not plowed instantly. They look at changing weather conditions, and they are always on the main streets first, then the snow routes, then the bigger side streets, then the little side streets, then the cul-de-sacs. Lastly, it's going to be parking lots, and that's just the way it's got to be for safety. So I take issue with that question. I think they do a great job, and I drive around to other communities, and I'm very proud of what we do in Oak Lawn, and especially today, Steve. I got a lot of complaints about salt. How come no salt was out there? Well, when it's minus 20 degrees, salt is nothing. It does no work for us. You're just throwing money away. So there's a lot more to it, and I don't know if anyone wants to add anything to what I said, but
Mayor, can I say something?
yeah. Can you bring him a microphone, please?
Hold on one second.
let's take last night's storm, for instance. So we worked till 1 o'clock in the morning, okay? We sent our crews home at 1 o'clock. Every street in Oak Lawn was wet, no issues at all. So I would think that everybody in this room was sleeping in at 1 o'clock this morning. So when you all got up early this morning and you look out your window, you would think, what's Public Works been doing all night? Okay, so one big thing that we always have issues, the timing of a storm is everything, you know. We're always out most of the time 24 hours a day when we have big storms. We have not changed in 44 years in how we plow the streets in Oak Lawn. Nothing has changed. Okay, so we've stayed, and we benchmark ourselves against other towns. All my supervisors, when, you know, we get frustrated too because, you know, we're driving around and we're not seeing any progress ourselves. Our supervisors drive into other towns just to say, you know, to make sure we're on top of things. And I can guarantee you, there's no town in this surrounding that does a better job than.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we get most of our compliments from people that live outside Oak Lawn, believe it or not, because they're coming from other suburbs, and we get dozens and dozens of calls from people that work at the hospital because they're coming from Hinsdale and Lamont, and oh boy, I come from Hinsdale and it was terrible until I got to Oak Lawn, and we get quite a few of them calls. So I think we're
Thanks,
a victim
Steve.
of our own success. Because we've done a good job for as long as I've been around, I think sometimes it bites us.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Steve. So, Jane was saying, don't forget, if you're on a snow route, or even if you're not, if you can get your car off the street when the plows come through, that goes a long way too, and she's spot on. We have a few more minutes. I think we go officially till 1:30. I can stay as long as needed to ask questions, but if any of those are duplicates.
Well, this one's easy.
Okay.
Are you ready for the baseball season? Who will you be rooting for?
Oak Lawn Little League.
All right, that's a good answer. All right.
Be a politician.
Wow. Do you think the results of the Chicago mayoral election will have any effect on Oak Lawn?
Good question. You know, we're in the shadow of Oak Lawn, and just as like the hospital is our biggest employer and they definitely impact our community, the biggest city around impacts our community. I'm hopeful that it'll be positive and it will impact us, I'm certain, but we will not be annexed. Never.
Is it true that the revenue from the elimination of the village stickers is now just being tacked onto our water bills?
So this is, yes, but think about it. Think of how many people don't have vehicle stickers or didn't. They weren't paying their fair share. The people who were paying their fair share, you know, anyway, Brian, I'm going to have you explain it better than I have. So what we did was try to have this be as revenue neutral as we can. What we did was take what we expected in revenue from the vehicle stickers and add a small amount onto the water bill based on usage. And again, think of the senior who's not using as much as a family of 6. It's more affordable. This is really important for the board to keep things as reasonable as we can. Brian, do you want to say anything?
Sure.
Can you get a microphone to Brian, please?
There's one right there. You pass it down.
Thanks. Because Brian can explain this better, and Brian really agonized over this too.
Well, the whole goal with the replacement of the vehicle sticker was to have it be revenue neutral. And when we compared the database the village has for our vehicle stickers to the state of Illinois' database, the village found that there was about 10 to 12,000 vehicles that didn't either register and the difference between the database that the state of Illinois had was significant, so much so that when we did an amnesty program, the village raised $300,000. So the fact of the matter is the vehicle sticker tax is an inefficient tax in that the good taxpayers fund the non-good taxpayers. So what we came up with was a tax that was based on usage. It's $7.20 a quarter, or about $28 a year, which was really meant to offset the $25 to $35, depending upon if it was a vehicle or a truck, and it was all calculated to be revenue neutral. So
Yeah,
that's
thank you,
the reason
Brian.
we did that.
He said it better, but yes, but in a scientific way.
All right, our question's already been asked about the village annex.
No.
Not happening. And then the village of Oak Lawn is extremely safe community. How can this be done without a wall?
By building bridges. So by networking, like groups like this, working together, and that was a good question. So any other questions? So one more.
So back to the water, Oak Lawn is also a major distribution center for all the villages around us for water, am I correct?
The question is what is Oak Lawn's role with water distribution? We are a regional water supplier. We supply, I believe, 13 communities, Larry, 13 or 12? 12. 12 communities, about 350,000 residents, we supply water. The construction you've seen on Southwest Highway is a generational project, putting a new water main in there. That water main is going all the way out, New Lenox, it's going far. So our pain with that construction is almost done, but not quite done, but we are a regional water supplier. And this helps keep our rates low. Believe it or not, even though you get your water bill, you always say, it's the lowest in the area. And if Chicago has a rate increase, that's just passed right through. It's not added on to in Oak Lawn. Okay, very good. Thank you. Really good questions. I love the questions this year. Thank you, everyone. Let's shop Oak Lawn.